Hi, welcome again. Now the topic is classifying the foods into different categories. Before consuming the food, what type of food we have to eat? That is the matter here. We have to discuss about the classification of food in this session. Welcome to another important topic to discuss about the classification of food materials. Normally, our food contain carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, and minerals. These five are very important. The main food materials are carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. Of course, the minerals and vitamins are also very important, but we had to take them in trace amounts, very less amounts. We are eating rice. That means we have to take more amount of carbohydrates into our body because we require lot of energy. We take curry and some other materials to get the proteins. We eat oils and meat to get the lipids or fats. So these five food materials are very important. We have to take them in large quantities. Then before discussing about these food materials, micronutrients and macronutrients, then to get awareness about our food materials, what have to be taken in huge quantities, what have to be taken into less quantities. Sometimes taking in huge quantities than the normal also leads to dangerous, for example obesity. Then we will start our discussion with the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are, if we will eat rice, chapati, and sugar, these are containing the carbohydrates. These carbohydrates are very important because they release energy from our food material carbohydrates in the mitochondria in our body inside the cells. Mainly these carbohydrates involve in the production of energy, that is called the ATP energy. That energy should be supplied to our body continuously because some of the organs in our body are continuously working. They require lot of energy, continuous supply of energy. That's why we have to take these carbohydrates in huge quantities. We are taking them into our body. So deficiency of these carbohydrates are discussed in the previous discussion. That leads to marasmus disease, brain do not function, and the body, all other body functions do not run in proper manner if the carbohydrates are not in our body in sufficient quantities. Especially this effect is more in the children. They do not show the more growth, sufficient growth or normal growth. The effect of carbohydrates deficiency also very high in the adults also, because mainly they are involving in the production of energy. Everyone, that may be childhood or boyhood or adulthood or later stages, everyone require a lot of energy continuously. That's why we have to take the carbohydrates into our body in uh, uh, sufficient quantities. Intake of huge quantities than the normal leads to obesity and some other problems also. But carbohydrates are very important food materials in our body, and along with these carbohydrates we too have take proteins into our body. How can we, what type of food materials are containing the containing these proteins means, if you are belongs to non-vegetarian, if you eat the meat you can get number of proteins. If you are vegetarian, if you eat pulses you can get number of proteins as the non-vegetarian. Don't worry about this. We and These are the main sources of proteins, but other food materials, fruits, vegetables, leafy vegetables, and other foods are also containing very food materials also containing proteins. If we will take them we can get the proteins in different quantities. The proteins role is very important in our body because the proteins are involving in all the metabolic activities. The enzymes present in our body are running the metabolic activities. The enzymes are nothing but proteins, and in our body all the cells are made up of proteins. So to build up the body, to run the metabolic activities daily, the proteins are very important. So we have to take these all proteins into our body in sufficient quantities. Deficiency of proteins is too dangerous because many metabolic activities are stopped their work. If they stop their work, that leads to dangerous. And growth is also very important in the children. if the proteins are deficient in the children, that leads to kwashiorkor disease. The children do not grow, the brain do not grow, the heart do not grow, the kidneys do not grow, and every organ in the body do not grow properly in the child. That leads kwashiorkor disease. So the children should supplied with sufficient amount of proteins at their childhood stage or boyhood stage. In adult stage, to run the metabolic activities, the balance diet should be maintained by everyone to run their metabolic activities in proper manner. Lipids are also called as the fats. If you will take oils, you will get the fats or lipids. Then these lipids are also involving in made up of cells. Cell membranes are also made up of lipids, and the lipids are containing more amount of energy than the carbohydrates. In extreme conditions, they can give huge energy, huge ATP energy to our body, supplies the energy. That's why we have to take lipids. Of course, nowadays excessive usage of oils and fats leading to obesity and some other hypertension, sugar disease, and some other abnormalities. And another important thing is vitamins are very important. ADK vitamins and BC vitamins are very important. They involve in the metabolic activities. So minerals are very important. In these minerals, micronutrients, macronutrients, iron, zinc, iodine are micronutrients. They require in very less quantities. But the calcium, potassium, sodium, and magnesium are we require very large amounts, because they are involving in many metabolic activities. That's why we require in huge quantities. So the deficiency of vitamins and the deficiency of minerals is very dangerous to the metabolic activities or body.